I think the risk-reward proposition for Bitcoin is better now than at any other time in history. Is it too late to invest? Well, can you take all your property, put it in your pocket, and leave the country on one day's notice if you need to? If not, then you're probably not too late. Bitcoin represents digital property. What's the value of digital property? Hundreds of trillions of dollars. Is it overvalued? Not yet. It's worth about $1 trillion right now. Even if it becomes 100 times more valuable than it is today, will it be overvalued? Not likely. It will probably still appreciate faster than almost anything else you can buy. Why? Because it's better than almost anything else you can buy. Show me a hotel you can put in your pocket, or a way to teleport $1 billion. A bar of gold weighs about 30 pounds. How are you going to move that? We're seeing institutional adoption, regulatory clarity, and capital flowing into the space. Yet, if you survey 100 of your friends, you'll likely find that 95% aren't fully invested in Bitcoin or don't fully understand it. Do your own research, but Bitcoin is 15 years old. Let's look at other great investments 15 years after their inception. Was Manhattan a good investment 15 years after it was founded? What about 200 years later? In 1776, was real estate in Manhattan a good investment in 1791? What about after the Civil War in 1865, or in 1970, or 15 years after that, in 1995? What about London property 2,000 years after the Romans arrived? These are scarce, desirable properties. 15 years in is not too late. The difference between winners and losers is that winners buy something valuable, while losers are afraid. Losers fear buying valuable things because they seem too expensive. New York real estate has always been the most expensive in the US, even 300 years ago. Apple was founded around 1976. Was it a good investment 15 years later, in 1993 or 1996? In 1998, Michael Dell even suggested Apple should shut down and return money to shareholders. Yet, at many points, it was a great investment. The key is understanding Bitcoin's use case. It's digital capital. How big is that market? About $400 trillion. That's the value locked up in real estate, equity, currency, bonds, collectibles, trophy assets, and precious metals. Half the value of most residential real estate is the monetary premium, the capital. How do you know this? Try this test. Go to Miami Beach or Monaco and count how many condo lights are on at night. You'll find 80 to 90% are dark. People tie up huge amounts of capital in idle assets because they feel their money safer there. In the 20th century, rich people bought sports teams, real estate, companies, land, timber rights, oil rights, gold, bonds, and art. They bought stuff because leaving money in the bank meant watching it dwindle away. But there was never a perfect digital capital instrument until Bitcoin. Imagine being a wealthy Russian, Nigerian, Turk, or Lebanese citizen over the last 30 years. Would you have preferred real estate in Moscow or Bitcoin? Or consider Germany in 1930 or Argentina, where the currency collapsed 5 times in 140 years? History shows that currencies collapse on average every 50 years. So, is it too late to invest in Bitcoin? If you can't take all your property with you on a moment's notice, then no, it's not too late. You can't take buildings, gold bars, or stock shares with you. People once bought paintings thinking they could roll them up, but that's not practical for most. Bitcoin, however, is digital property you can carry anywhere. What's the value of digital property? Hundreds of trillions of dollars. Is Bitcoin overvalued? Not yet. At $1 trillion today, even if it grows 100 times, it likely won't be overvalued. It will probably still appreciate faster than most other assets because it's superior. Show me a hotel you can carry in your pocket, or a way to teleport $1 billion. A bar of gold weighs 30 pounds. How do you move that? I believe we're in the Bitcoin gold rush era, which started in January 2024 and will run until around November 2034, about 10 years. Here's why. At the start of this period, about 93% of Bitcoin had been mined. By November 2034, 99% of all Bitcoin will have been issued. The last 1% will take another 100 years, but practically speaking, it's negligible. This 10-year window is your best chance to acquire Bitcoin. It's the gold rush because there's still a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt. people don't understand digital energy, digital capital, or digital property. There's debate about whether Bitcoin is a currency or property. Critics say it's not a good currency because it's not legal tender, it's not fast enough, or you can't buy coffee with it. Regulators and bankers criticize it for these reasons, but they misunderstand its true value. Mainstream investors, who control 900 trillion in wealth, have barely touched Bitcoin. Most people don't understand it, and as the price rises, more will be forced to confront it. Critics like Warren Buffett likely haven't spent 100 hours studying Bitcoin. They haven't read the Bitcoin Standard or listened to 20 to 40 hours of podcasts. The critics are misinformed, and the mainstream investors are uninformed. But over the next 10 years, there will be an explosive increase in education. As Bitcoin's price rises, more people will be asked about it, and many will reject it because they don't understand it. They'll say, it's like gold. It doesn't generate cash flows, but they don't understand why gold fails as money. It's inflationary. They don't understand why digital gold Bitcoin is better. They don't understand money, property theory, or capital theory, let alone digital capital or digital energy. If everyone read the right books, listened to the right podcasts, and spent a few hundred hours thinking about it, they'd wake up tomorrow and buy Bitcoin. And Bitcoin would be worth $5 million per coin.